Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by PewSitter.com, your online Catholic newspaper for the third millennium, CatholicMediaCoalition.org, in line with the Church, online with the world.
And TheAmericanCatholic.com, politics and culture from a Catholic perspective.
Hello and welcome to today's edition of Catholic News Roundup. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Obamacare to be heard in Supreme Court. The constitutionality of Obamacare will be a Supreme Court case. The highest court in the land announces, initially focusing on the mandate of the new law that all Americans must buy health insurance or be penalized in their income tax. Fox News reports the Supreme Court will address the case out of Florida, which is backed by challenges of the law from 26 states, and will first address if the mandate is constitutional. According to the Washington Post, all 9 Supreme Court justices will be involved in the case, and if the mandate is ruled unconstitutional, they will determine if the rest of the law can survive, since it is based on revenues dependent upon all Americans buying health care. The first hearings on the case are announced for March, with a decision expected to boil over into the election year mix in June. Meanwhile, the number of cases against Obamacare is increasing as Belmont Abbey bites back. A Catholic college has decided to add its lawsuit to the pile, suing the federal government over the mandate that all health insurance plans cover contraception and sterilization. CatholicCulture.org reports the Becket Fund for Religious Liberty is representing Belmont Abbey, a Benedictine college who will face a $140,000 fine if they drop the health insurance of their employees to avoid supporting the immoralities of so-called reproductive services under the new law. Hannah Smith, senior legal counsel at the Becket Fund, says, quote, "A monk at Belmont Abbey may preach on Sunday that premarital sex, contraception, and abortions are immoral, but on Monday, the government would force the same monk to pay for students who receive the very drugs and procedures he denounces," end quote. The Becket Fund maintains that in order to avoid such a fine and to fight discrimination because of religious beliefs, the North Carolina college has no choice but to sue the government. Obama's gay dilemma. Barack Obama has refused asylum to a Muslim homosexual Saudi Arabian diplomat, causing the administration to walk a fine line between foreign relations with the country and offending gay rights activists at home. Ali Ahmad Asseri, who JihadWatch.org reports is the former first secretary of the Saudi consulate in Los Angeles, applied for asylum in the United States last year after it was found out he was a homosexual, since Sharia law would punish him with death. The Jerusalem Post published an article on November 12th reporting that the Obama administration was denying him asylum, which is infuriating homosexual activists. The article in the Post says Obama is afraid of offending the Arabian government, which is going through the, quote, Arab Spring revolts, currently rocking the Middle East, while same-sex proponents are calling his administration's foreign policy, quote, self-destructive appeasement that does not extend protection to religious minorities. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds.
Catholic News Roundup is brought to you in part by NewOxfordReview.org, the voice of Catholic Orthodoxy, in print and on the web, and RenewAmerica.com, expanding the influence of America's grassroots in the cause of freedom.
Nurses defend conscience clause. A New Jersey court is protecting the rights of 12 nurses after being told by their employer they would be fired if they did not agree to perform abortions. The nurses, you may remember, were threatened with dismissal by the University of Medicine and Dentistry of New Jersey, but are now protected by a court order in effect until November 18th, when the court will decide if the order should be extended. Meanwhile, the university hospital is claiming through their attorneys that they never required the nurses to perform abortions. Instead, they only were asked to give abortion patients pre-surgery and post-surgery treatments. Matthew Bowman, the nurse's attorney from the Alliance Defense Fund, responded by saying the hospital needs to, quote, either admit that it is breaking the law or assure its nurses that it believes its own press releases and will actually stop requiring the nurses to assist with activities related to abortion, end quote. You can read more about the ongoing case on our research page by clicking the link right outside the screen. Anglican sisters welcomed. Maryland is proving to be fertile ground for converts in the preliminary stages of the Anglican Ordinariate in America, bringing in entire parishes and now adding a priory of nuns. The All Saints Sisters of the Poor left the Episcopal Church for the Roman Catholic Church 2 years ago, and now, by Vatican decree, they are an official diocesan order, equivalent of the Daughters of Charity. All 10 members of the Catonsville Convent took their perpetual vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience on All Saints' Day at the National Shrine of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary in front of nearly 24 priests and bishops. Archbishop Edwin F. O'Brien chose November 1st as the sisters' patronal feast day, saying that few bishops have had the opportunity to receive such a great gift to the Church. I'm Matthew McAuliffe. Thanks for tuning in today. Be sure and tune in tomorrow for your daily dose of Catholic News Roundup right here on RealCatholicTV.com. And be sure to check out The Vortex today, where Mike talks about false Catholics in the wake of Vatican II and the emergence of hope from destruction. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tell all your friends about us. And as always, God bless you.